Hi there, parents. I wanted to give a quick recap of a short portion of my back to school. This part of the presentation seemed to get constantly cut short by the evening, and it's what I call brain in hand problem solving techniques. So I'm going to expand just a little bit on them in this video since we didn't have some time in the classroom to do so. This was sent as a PDF in this email. Those of you who also attended got the handout that looked like so. This is called what I call brain in hand problem solving techniques. The first and most important is right here, reading with 3 body parts 3 times. So have your son and daughter, make sure they always read with their finger on the paper, lips moving, reading. Then they go back a second time, underline and highlight the information. Go back a third time, make a drawing, trace the drawing, shade the drawing. There's a phrase I use called no naked diagrams. Make sure the diagram gets dressed up. If they get stuck, you can ask them to get out their reference booklet. Ask them to get out their reference booklet that looks like this. It's essentially the textbook in this class. Have them flip to the section that is most recently being used. For example, whether it's Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, or Unit 4. And ask them to explain what did they learn in class. Almost every class time, we write something in this reference booklet that they need basic information. Number 3, ask what can you do versus should do. Should do. If you ask a question that what is the correct next step or what should you do, that is called convergent thinking. It's a narrow type of thinking, and it's forcing the student to think in a very narrow and focused way. I'm trying to teach your son and daughter to do what's called divergent thinking. So instead of asking the question, should, you ask the question, what can you do? It's a broadening question. For example, they're like, I don't know how to solve a problem involving rectangles and area and perimeter. And they're like, I don't know what I should do. And you can ask the question, well, can you at least write out the area equation? Sure, I can do that. Can you at least write out the perimeter equation? Sure, I can do that. So you kind of prompt them, just think of what they can do. Number 3, when they use equations, we do equations 2 sides with an equal sign. Ask your son and daughter to explain that, please. Something called circle, plug, chug. When they write an equation down, I expect them to circle every component of the equation and then circle it and plug the numbers in that we're using. That enables to get numbers put in properly without losing pieces. It's called circle, plug, chug. All of these I summarize as brain in hand learning techniques. This is what I would love for you to do as you are leaving Valley right here, this little gear thing. I'm the teacher, I'm coming in, and then I'm combining with you, the parent, and together we are moving your son and daughter towards better learning. I ask you to do this every single time you pick up your son and daughter from Valley. While you're meandering your way down the hill, have them set a timer on their phone for 1 minute, 1 minute only. That way they know they're not hostage to this process more than a single minute. Hit the timer. Ask them to talk and act out the day's lesson by not only summarizing verbally the lesson, but acting it out with their hands and arms. It helps them grasp the math from a physical spatial relationship. For example, when we study parallel lines, they should describe the lesson. Oh, we learned about parallel lines. And we had something called a transversal. And inside that transversal, we had angles called armpits of the Z, also known as alternate interior angles. So they should be physically acting out the day's lesson for a mere minute. By doing that, let's say they have a lesson at 9 o'clock in the morning. They see you at 3 o'clock. That delayed review both verbal and kinesthetic using the hands, enables the information to shift from the short-term to the long-term relationship. If you can do that for 1 minute every time you pick up your son and daughter, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great evening. Thanks for coming this evening.